Welcome back, adventurer. Today's creature has been described as a cannibal blue witch who trades in cats. Now if that scratched your creep organ, then come, pull up a stool at Creature Tavern. Hail and well met, adventurer. Come, grab a stool and pop your boots off, as I pop your head full of tales from our creature this week. Black Annis, also known as Black Agnes, Black Anne, or my personal favourite, Cat Anne. Some say she's an ancient goddess who the people happily made human sacrifices to. Other folk suggest that Black Annis of Leicestershire was a real person named Agnes Scott, a nun who cared for a local leper colony who lived a life of prayer in a cave in the Dane hills. All I can say for sure, young adventurer, is that this creature is one no sane person would intentionally seek out. She's described as a grotesque nightmare, a creature whose very presence seems to drench the air around her with malice. Impossibly tall, with skin a mottled, sickly shade of blue, stretched tight over her gnarled skeletal frame. Her face, twisted and cavernous, is an expression of primeval hunger. Flesh pulled taut over sunken bone, some folks say her eyes burn with a feral yellow glow, while others swear they are pits of purest night. A calling void that swallows all sense of hope, and her lips, drawn back to reveal a mouth brimming with jagged, iron-like teeth that never seem to stop gnashing. And it only gets more horrifying the more you see. Her hands are monstrous, long and clawed, tipped with metal talons capable of rending flesh from bone with ease. And here's the best bit. Black Annis is a fashion-forward creature. She's never seen without her cloak, crafted from tattered, rotting flesh, the remnants of her victims draped over her hunched shoulders as a perverse trophy. If you're unlucky enough to get this close to her, you'll find her breath is foul, carrying the stench of decayed bodies and old blood. And when she opens her mouth to howl, it's as if the very air itself becomes poisoned, thick with the stench of death. Or if you believe the Cat Anne legends, she's a giant, monstrous cat. And personally, adventurer, that's the one I choose to believe. As I mentioned earlier, Black Annis lives in the Dane hills of Leicestershire, England, specifically in a cave carved by her own iron talons, deep into the sandstone, named Black Annis's Bower. If you wanted to test your might, young adventurer, simply look for the tall, gnarled oak tree that sits at the mouth of her cave. Its branches are ancient and skeletal. They almost appear to beckon you closer. Oh, and I almost forgot. That tree, that's where Black Annis hangs her neatly flayed skins. So if you're in the market for some new leathers, you'll always find a couple hanging there. Anyways, back to the bower. The air there is thick with the smell of rot and copper, and venturing further in will only intensify the horror, as those few mad individuals who've dared venture forth say its walls are scarred with claw marks, likely from Black Annis's own talons when she carved this demented home. And the floor, they say it's drenched in the blood of livestock and children. How anyone's able to tell the difference, I couldn't say, but that is how the story goes. And there are others that say she lived in the cellars beneath Leicestershire Castle, with an underground passage linking the cellars to those Dane hills, along which she likes to run. I'd maybe start there if I were you, adventurer. Avoid that skin drying rack. So if this tale's got you sitting on edge, dear adventurer, don't fret. It's said that Black Annis only ventures out on winter's nights, so you're safe for now. But once winter comes, beware. Black Annis is no simple beast. She's a creature of intelligence and cunning. She's no one-trick pony, but a far sinister two-trick pony. Sometimes Black Annis would hang in the branches of that old oak tree, just outside her cave, waiting to prey on the curious or lost. Other times it's said she ventures further out, to the local village for a spot of lunch. And by lunch, I of course mean she likes to reach her stretched, bony arms into villagers' windows and drag children out and off to our cave. A lot of folks around here say she has a particular taste for naughty children and lambs, although no one can say whether the lambs also have to be naughty. Either way, You'll know when Black Annis is hungry by the disturbing sound of her grinding teeth. Some say this is Black Annis giving warning of her imminent arrival. Or you might hear her wailing howl. It's said to stretch over the land for 5 miles. So remember these sounds, adventurer. Recognising one could mean the difference between you having lunch and becoming it. So to survive an encounter with Black Annis, you'll need some advice. And as luck would have it, your friendly neighbourhood tavern keeper has just that. If you must venture out in search of her, then go out in the day and make sure it's not winter. At least that way you know she won't be hanging out in her tree, and you can always escape into the light should she catch you in her cave. It also doesn't hurt to bring some herbs. Rosemary, sage and yarrow are commonly used to ward away malevolent spirits, and although there's little evidence to say Black Annis is 100% a spirit, some folk around here think she is, as long as you're willing to trust a few regulars. Now this one might surprise you, but if you do venture down into Black Annis's bower, and the herbs look more like they'll be seasoning than warding, then you may find this next tip saves your hide from becoming a new skirt. Legends claim that Black Annis has a particular fondness for felines, and that presenting her with one might distract her or even calm her, granting you and your party a narrow window to escape. You could say she takes any catrancy. However, not everyone believes this feline bargaining chip will work, and then you've got to think about the numbers. Do you bring just the one cat? What if you name it? Can you really sacrifice that cat after bonding with her on your quests? You've a colder heart than I if you can, adventurer. And with that, we're finished with our creature for the day. We've learned that when travelling around certain county caves, cats rank higher than any coin. Now that bell means it's last call here at Creature Tavern, so grab yourself one more drink for the road, and until next time, tread carefully, adventurer. You never know when you might wander into the weird